I think this one is canon.
Cannon's gonna kill Rosa on behalf of Maria. Or maybe he has to fight Maria. Maria will come out and it'll be like the protective guardian of Rosa.
Maybe he has to fight future Maria.
Oh my goodness. Future Maria! Insert future Maria with the hands. Okay.
I think we should do it the other way around.
What do you mean?
So like for George's one, you should have narrated.
I
And then
thought
for the other one, I should have done it because it's like, yeah.
It is what it is. The scuff experience. As long as we get through this challenge.
Yeah.
Rosa could be seen in the parlour. The relatives apparently all wanted to be alone after dispersing for a short break. Since everybody avoided the parlour, the one place where people would normally gather, Rosa was able to have this relaxing and comforting room all to herself. That didn't mean she looked relaxed. Her expression was heavy with gloom and weariness. The cup of black tea that she had brought from the dining hall had gone cold. Wait, you did Rosa, didn't you? Okay. That is definitely Rosa.
That's not.
Yes, it is. A pleasant silence. Now that no one was in sight, Rosa's heart finally awoke. She was always treated like a kid in the conferences with her 3 siblings. She had no influence at all. But possibly because of that, she was apparently considered to be a neutral party. The siblings would often ask for her agreement, sometimes even treating her like a referee or a judge.
I have to make use of that, and turn the discussion in the direction I want. I have to find almost 100 million yen by March. That was supposed to be my great commitment, a burden I bore to help support that man's business. Now, I'm not sure anymore. If I can pay off my debt, will he call me again?
Is she seeing a host?
No.
Or what? She's talking about that man's business and that if she doesn't have the money, he won't want to see her again.
Yeah, it was just the guy she was dating who was like wanted the money.
But couldn't that also kind of be like she was seeing a host? And she's putting money into that?
If she
It
was
only just occurred to me just then.
If she was seeing a host, I feel like it would have been a bit more like explicit. It would have explained it more. From like just the way it sounded from what I've read. It was just a guy that she was dating who wanted money.
Okay. So no one's mentioned a host theory with Rosa.
Don't know. I haven't looked it up. It's the first time I've heard of it.
Don't make me laugh. Even if you do contact me after all this time, I'll be the one to refuse. But still, you're Maria's father. Please come and see her. If only just once.
We don't know much about her father, do we?
No.
Love is quite a difficult thing to stick to, isn't it?
You were right, it's canon.
Huh? Who?
Though no one should have been in the parlour, someone suddenly spoke to Rosa and she jumped. Just when did he get there? Canon could be seen standing there, even considering that she had been deep in thought, to think that she hadn't noticed him at all.
You startled me. Sorry, I guess I was thinking so hard that I didn't notice you. Do you need something?
Oh my goodness, these two voices are going to be so hard for you to do together.
No. The reason you are currently in pain is because of love, Rosa Summer. Am I wrong? That's sudden. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maria Summer's father wanted you to be the co-signer on a loan, and you accepted, Rosa Summer. What a troublesome kid. You were listening to Kraus Nissan from the hallway, weren't you?
True. Earlier this day, in this very room, Krauts had seen through to the fact that Rosa was bearing a massive debt because she'd become a co-signer on a loan. However, he hadn't said that her partner had been Maria's father. Why did Cannon know so much?
You are a very wise person, Rosa-sama. You wouldn't have become a co-signer without thinking carefully about the consequences. I hadn't yet moved to his family register, but I thought of the man I would soon marry as my partner. If he couldn't borrow the money without my name, I figured that helping him out was my responsibility as his future wife. And did that future ever come?
No, it hadn't. So afterwards, Rosa was always alone, and Maria never had a father. However, time moved on. Nothing changed except that Maria, who should have been a symbol of their union, just kept growing like a living hourglass, measuring the length of the hell Rosa had crawled through. Because of that, Maria's growth hurt.
It's ironic. I tried to forget that man several times. But you know, forgetting him doesn't get rid of that debt.
It was only natural. That's why she had to forget her love and do all she could to pay that money back.
But you know, I always also think of it this way. If I can manage to pay everything off, it'll mean that I've passed the trial of love that he gave me. I'll have to pay off my debt anyway, so how can I abandon my reward, the love I'll gain as a result, before it's over? Is it really so wrong to put off thinking about that until after I've paid my debts?
It may have been a trick of words that only those who have suffered through love could understand, even though Rosa was vaguely aware of the possibility that she'd been deceived. However, if she was able to succeed in paying back the loan, he might acknowledge her usefulness as a wife. When that happened, she might be able to regain that love. And if she abandoned that love, this debt, this trial that he had given her, would become completely meaningless. Yes, for her, the debt itself appeared to be a trial of love. Actually, the very fact that she tried to view it in that way might have been the blindness of love. Proof that she was still bound by her regrets and obsessed with the past. That pain still continued within her. At the very least, it would remain until she had paid back that massive loan, and even then it would take quite some time before she'd be able to lay her feelings for him to rest.
Could this be that hell Kirie-sama spoke of? I see. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but there's no doubt that my word has been hell through and through. Well, and how can that be put to an end? Who knows? If anyone did, no one would ever be crushed by the disease of love.
That disease is a serious one. It sometimes eats into a person for their entire life, spreading to and hurting the people closest to them. That disease was torturing her now as much as it ever had.
Well, since you bring up Kirie-san, her story is like a wish or a dream to me.
Though she had had her man stolen from her, she persevered for 18 years. She never fell to despair and instead continued to support Rudolph, keeping her head down and her thumbs up. I don't know. Her head down and waiting for a miracle.
Same thing.
A miracle to be picked.
It's like,
Is that... Does every kid play that, or is that only an Australian game?
I don't know. I don't think they play it here anymore even.
I think they kind of do. The game to, like, make kids shut up.
No, they just play the silent game.
The teacher, I need
We
quiet.
played the silent game in primary school.
Wait, what's the silent game?
You just be quiet.
What is
If you make noise, you're out. Just literally just, everyone shut up. I need some time.
What grade was that?
I think like 2. I think
Did the
the
teacher
students were the one who
literally-
suggested.
Did the student, some kid at home, like their mum's like, all right, time for the silent game.
I love this game!
Heads down, thumbs up sounds better.
Maria is still 9 years old. I've only waited as long as the first half of Kirie's 18 years. If I gave up after just this, she would laugh at me. Do you think a miracle will occur within 9 years? If I doubt that, it's all over. In a sense, I'm a ghost. I'm already dead. I'm just living on without noticing. A ghost waiting for eternity for a person who will never come. That's right. That day when I naively said that I wanted to support his dream, I was probably already dead. I guess that really was a regretful day in the end. I have dreams. I want to go overseas. I'll fly out of this tiny country, make it big and come back to you. That takes me back. At that time, I thought of lovers as a pair of people willing to acknowledge each other's radical dreams. That's why he would always happily cheer me up by talking about how I'd become a successful designer, traveling to Paris to release a new line and getting jostled by the press. When I think about it, I really had my head in the clouds during that strange time. We both lifted the other up, as though we were drifting about in the air. So, when he said that he wanted to get out of Japan, I applauded him and promised to support him.
Acknowledging each other's great dreams with nothing but words is a classic sort of pillow talk between lovers. However, when it comes to actually carrying them out, you need to be more serious and calculating.
For a long time, I felt proud of letting him go on that day. No, I still do. But you still regret it. That's right. If I had sobbed and told him to stop on that day, I might not have fallen into hell. Seeing him off with a smile was my victory? Of course not. It's as though I lost by default by refusing to fight when the time came. I only glorified that loss, saw him off with a smile as he went to take on the world overseas, and became intoxicated with the illusion that I was some brave woman waiting patiently for her man's return with her daughter. Even though I didn't get a single call from him, and mail sent to the address he'd given me came back forwarding address unknown. This is hell. In this hell, I'll regret not fighting when I should have until the day I die. I've even dragged my daughter into it. I wish someone would just kill me. I want to be told that I've already been killed, that I'm a ghost.
I wouldn't wish for that when talking to Kenan right now, Rosa.
In love, if you do not fight, you have to crawl through hell.
Yes, love is a fight.
Will you win and gain, or lose and die?
But please have no fear of death.
After all, it's a peaceful sleep.
What's truly terrifying is
the
hell where you find the unsleeping ghosts of those who couldn't win, yet couldn't die. That hell is no end.
The battle of love is cruelest for those who never even fight, but weren't able to die either.
So in love, you gotta make it or break it. Dying in battle like that is liberating. Heartburn! They say the most torturous toxin for humans is made from love grown stale. The suffering it brings exceeds the tortures of the most twisted hells. She used this knowledge to try and embolden her double and little sister, encouraging her to take on any trial no matter how fierce. I understand. After all, when my desire to have Butler-san accept me one day wells up in my chest, I can feel the seed that resides there. It is up to me to kill that seed or make it bud. However, if I let it rot here in my chest, that poison will surely torment me forever. And that is the most fearsome torture in the world, even for us 1,000-year-old witches.
See what happens to those who make light of love. This hell of roses.
is what happens to those who do not possess the courage to make the seed of love bud, and instead allow it to rot.
One cannot end that pain by their own hands.
Jesse! Jay.
Ew.
Huh?
Huh? Just now. What was that? A red light?
Cannon just assassinated her? Like, what?
He's got a laser pointer.
Pardon me. Huh? What? Just now. I thought I saw something strange. I wonder if I'm tired. It's probably just my imagination.
Well, I like someone just got to the point and didn't drag it out. Rosa picked up her cup of cold tea. When she did, she saw a small red rose petal float to the surface. A rose? A rose?
I have heard that in your youth you loved to lie on that sofa.
It wasn't a rose petal. It was a drop of blood that had fallen from Rosa's eyes. In an instant, Cannon had beautifully and precisely cut just a single thread of Rosa's life. Are you going to draw it out, Cannon? There was no wound on Rosa's body. However, several drops of blood dripped down from her eyes. Her pain, her uncertainties, and her worries were all gone now. Slowly, she fell down onto her side on the sofa. This had been one of the happiest things she had done during the happiest day of her life.
Sleep well, Rosa-sama. Your hell has ended.
Cannon took a blanket out of the cupboard and gently covered Rosa with it. To anyone, it would have looked just as though Rosa was sleeping peacefully. Those demons had not exaggerated when calling this trial a battle of love. It was at least accurate on this cruel but unassailable fact, that those who have their love shattered meet with death.
Now, my part is complete. Did you see that, demons?
What? Cannon!
Damn.
Oh, I knew it! Rosa's like, this isn't even my final spawn!
Final spawn.
Final spawn! The spawn comes to life in Maria. Literal spawn. Oh, you dare kill my mama! You dare kill my mama! What's the video got like 1,000 machine guns? Where is it coming from? Oh no! Remember, how do I pronounce this word?
It's not that hard.
Let's just, no, whisper, Okay.
Mariage social.
Mariage social. Mariage social. One of the two great witches of Mariage social, Maria. Though she was just an apprentice, the power sleeping within her had impressed even Beatrice at the height of her strength. In Maria's eyes, though Rosa may have been the Black Witch, she was also the vessel of the mother she couldn't help but love. Her anger at having that stolen from her was near madness. You dare to! Mama! 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 Maria's attack was too emotional. Because of this, she didn't notice that Cannon had vanished for several heartbeats, and she released her barrage of what had become an empty space. In the meantime, Cannon jumped from the wall to wall around to Maria's back. Huh?
I don't want to kill past my quota. But I'll clean up the messes I've made.
Oh.
Who do you...
Cannon, this is not fair. Cannon has to fight a whole family.
What are... You... Diplomatic immunity. I won't let you target Maria or me.
Cannon's face.
Damn.
The red curved blade extending from Cannon's hand vanished in an instant. He tried hard to make it reappear, but when he attempted to use it on Maria and Sakutaro again, it vanished once more. Because of Sakutaro's power, he was unable to make either of them the target of his attacks. There you are. How long have you been there?
Who do you... I won't let anyone bully Maria. Damn it.
Maria finally noticed where Cannon was, and she slowly turned around. Cannon made his sword materialize yet again. His face looks so silly. Cannon made his sword materialize yet again, but no matter how often he tried, it kept fading out, like a flashlight with a bad battery. Oh, that would have been good if they had like a bzz, 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 bzz. Like, you know, like a light sign that's just like ping, 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 ping. In the movies? His, like,
In the movies.
yeah, if his sword was like bzz, bzz, bzz. I won't let you get away now. I won't forgive you for the sin of stealing my mama away. I'll kill you! Just like Mama killed all of them, I'll kill you without mercy. When did her mom kill everyone? What's that face
I don't know.
for? What is that face for?
Over it however you want.
As Maria howled, the entire parlor was surrounded by a cube of red, magic barriers. It was a closed room symbolizing a barrier that Cannon could never escape.
I think it's referring to, like, as she, broke a lot of her toys.
Oh, yeah,
Forest
yeah,
animals.
true.
Damn it.
It's been a while.
Not here.
Cannon cursed his bad luck. Even though he had fulfilled his goal in the demon's trial, if he was killed here, he'd be dragged off the game board.
Maria, don't overdo it.
Yeah, I won't overdo it. I'll be a little more gentle than Mama was. How is that more gentle? Maria sounds violent.
Who is it?
Pardon me, Maria-sama. In accordance with the contract with Zeppa-sama and Fur-Fur-sama, I come for your life. Oh, interesting, okay. Shannon, don't get in my way!
It's pointless, Shannon. I won't let anyone target Maria.
Yes, I don't intend to target her in any way. I will simply protect myself. A cylindrical red magical barrier surrounded Shannon as she stood in the center of the parlor. It's alright. She made its brightness and thickness grow, and its radius suddenly expanded, filling up the room. Cannon should still be there, right? Or did
He's probably in the...
they've tag teamed out. It wasn't targeting Maria. This power was being wielded to protect Shannon's body. So Sakutaro's power didn't make it disappear.
Nia-san.
Would you let your feelings from a lady collapse in a situation like this? Get hold of yourself. By now, the shield with Shannon at the center had covered up the entire room. Its power crushed Maria and Sakutaro into the corner. Ironically, they were perfectly wedged between Shannon's barrier and the closed room barrier Maria had set up to prevent Cannon from escaping.
No, good. Can't escape.
I see. This is a closed room. This might be just perfect for that wannabe detective who's trying to deny Beato's magic. Checkmate, Maria-sama. Is that acceptable? Yeah, it's fine. Crush me! Then here it comes. The entire room was filled with the red light of the shield, and the output and pressure were raised to their limits. Oh my goodness. Wait. Was it recording?
I don't know if it was before, but right now it's not.
Ah!
Just keep going. I'll play
Let me
through
do that again. The entire room was filled with the red light of the shield, and the output and pressure were raised to their limits. Then, crushed between the shield and their own closed room barrier, Maria and Sakutaro lost their forms, scattered into a gold splash, and disappeared. It had to happen once, at least. Happens to everybody.
I swear I pressed record. I'll check the files later.
Thank you. I couldn't afford to disappear here.
If you lost in a place like this, you wouldn't be able to let it go.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up if I lost in a place like this.
Zappa-sama, Fur-Fur-sama, we have both finished our trials. Is that satisfactory?
Yeah, truly splendid. No complaints for either of you.
Then shall we finish with Beatrice's turn? Oh, where did she go?
To the victim she's chosen, of course.
Bella. Then let's go there as well. Natsuhi looks tired.
Yeah, true form.
Natsuhi could be seen in her personal room. Kraus had told her to go to bed, but she couldn't afford to lie around sleeping on an important day like this.
Bedtime. Go to bed.
However, she realized that she was the type to get excited easily, and that this sometimes held her husband back. Excited, it's a bit of an understatement. So, though she didn't like it one bit, there was no way around it. It was probably close to the time for the break to end, and the family conference would begin once again in the dining hall. Her husband would have to protect the Ushiomiya family honor from those greedy siblings, all by himself. If she grew emotional by his side, she would just tie him down. Though she knew that quietly waiting here was the best way she could support him, that didn't make the waiting any easy. Natsuhi, I think so. Yeah. Natsuhi pulled a small treasure box out of the drawer. This was her secret box. Inside was everything from valuable items to mere rubbish. However, they were all precious, memorable treasures in Natsuhi's eyes. She pulled a small pouch out of the box. She stuck her hand inside it. It was a kind of charm that her own family had given her when she had married. A spirit mirror to ward off evil. Her own face was reflected in it. Youth doesn't last forever. Recently, she'd seen a bit of her parents and grandparents on her own face. So by staring at her reflection in the mirror like this, she felt as though her soul had returned to the family she'd been born into.
Oh, Dad, Mum, I've always been so ignorant and unable to support my husband.
Of course, her face in the mirror did not answer. However, Natsuki continued.
I wait here alone because I love my husband. However, I think love means being close to one another. Though I understand logically that staying here is the best way I can help him, I still feel wretched for doing it.
I'll do the narration.
It's tough, isn't it? Waiting for the sake of love.
With a tear fell onto the mirror. Old dear memories of her life at her parents' house rose up inside her. Now was the time for her to follow her parents' example. When her father came home late, her mother would always sit up straight waiting for him, prepared for him to arrive at any moment. She would always wait for him, kneeling in the entrance hall, and no matter how late he came home, she would always wake up all the children and line them up to greet him. At the time,
I only thought of her as being exceptionally strict, but at this age I finally understand how strong she was, persevering in her love for her beloved husband even after being left in charge of the house while he was out. Because of your love for your husband, you couldn't bear to be made to care for an unfamiliar child. Ah!
the sudden voice made Natsuki jump up and look about the room. When she did, there was a Western lady wrapped in an extravagant dress.
What was this? The smack? Who are you?
Natsuki was confused. There was no one like this in the mansion. However, though this was her first time seeing this person, it felt as though she had seen her somewhere else. Her mind had gone blank with an anger at the ruffian who had snuck into her private room, and confusion over the appearance of someone she didn't know. So it took quite some time before she realized that this was the witch of the portrait.
Oh my goodness, I just realized something.
What?
I have Natsuki's hair.
You know.
It's like different coloured here, and then if it is in a ponytail, it's kind of a different colour.
I'll have to wait for her to come back on screen.
Okay.
Though you murdered a baby you didn't know on that day 19 years ago, I will not hold that sin against you.
I'll ponytail it up so you can see.
Ooh! What are you talking about?
Beato had chosen Natsuki as her sacrifice. She was Battler's enemy. Beato didn't know much about the details of Battler's birth. However, she knew about the fragment of the previous game, and knew there was a chance that Battler was the baby that Natsuki had pushed off a cliff 19 years ago.
What?
Battler had used... That was the whole point of his argument. He was like, I could have been the baby. And that's why Natsuki was saved.
Could have. Keyword could have.
Battler had used this blue wedge to protect Natsuki from certain false charges. But if you took it as a confession by Battler himself, then from Beato's position, Natsuki was an enemy who probably forced Battler to live a painful life.
Hang on.
You killed that baby who lacked your husband's blood, for the sake of your love for your husband. So also for the sake of love, I will not hold it against you. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Get out! This is my room!
See?
No, she keeps her hair down at the front.
Well, I'm not going to do that right now because it's oily. But do you know what I mean? Are you seeing the two-tonal difference here? Do you even
It's
like...
just shading.
That's completely different colours to be shading. That's shading and they're not different colours.
I need to wash my hair. Therefore, please do not hold it against me when I kill you for what I cannot
wasn't me.
read. Therefore, please do not... Wait, what?
Yeah.
Do not hold it against me when I kill you for the sake of my love.
Beato slowly stuck out her arms and made as if to grab something in empty space. That grab bound itself around Natsuhi's neck. Natsuhi's heels lifted up. That's not me, I swear. And a faint purple shape appeared around her neck. Natsuhi frantically scratched at her neck, trying to stop whatever was strangling her, but there was nothing there. So, to an outsider, it just looked as though Natsuhi was standing on her toes in anguish, scratching at her own neck.
Both pairs of lovers have shown their determination. I do not think that my love for Butler-san is inferior to theirs. Just as I will not blame you for your sin of 19 years ago, I will not blame myself for this sin.
As Natsuhi twisted in agony, something she had been grasping fell from her grip. Since it had fallen by her feet, Beato dropped her gaze to see what it was. It was Natsuhi's spirit mirror. When she peered into it, there was a sound like a burst of electricity. That sound released Natsuhi from the invisible hands and made Beato topple backwards like a doll. Coughing, Natsuhi tried to comprehend what was going on around her. Beato rolled over and, dizzy as though she had just bumped her head, she slowly tried to stand up. Her eyes were bewildered, as though even she didn't really understand what had happened.
What? What is this? That is surprising. You could touch spiderwebs without trouble, but you can't handle the spirit mirror? Even I don't have a clue what's happening. What in the world?
She had thought that only Beato the Elder possessed non-human weak points, such as getting burned by spiderwebs and wards, and having her power sealed by spirit mirrors. However, for some reason, this spirit mirror alone could apparently affect Beato as well. Even Beato couldn't understand what about the spirit mirror had such an overpowering effect on her. But Natsuhi was different. She instantly realized that the reason for the hesitation of this unearthly being, this witch of the portrait, must be the power of the mirror. So, she rapidly crawled across the floor and picked it up.
Like a spider.
Then she stuck it out so that Beato could see it. Beato still didn't know what was happening.
Like a cross.
So still sitting down, she looked straight at it.
The power of my ancestors compels you! The power of my ancestors compels you!
Look at this pimple! And this time, both of them understood the situation completely. Beato realized that the mirror was working some hateful power against her, and Natsuhi realized that the spirit mirror had the power to repel witches.
Why is the mirror? It's because you're an evil witch! This miraculous spirit mirror repels all creatures of evil. Don't point it at me.
With the spirit mirror still held out, Natsuhi cautiously closed the gap between them. She was cautious so as to prevent the other from suddenly lashing out and stealing the mirror, but she steadily moved to corner this evil.
I do not know who you are. All I know is that you tried to kill me, and I know that you are a creature of evil, fearful of this spirit mirror. Be gone, evil one!
Beato didn't understand what was happening herself. She didn't know why she had to fear this spirit mirror. However, when she tried to look at the bright light let off by the spirit mirror, It pierced her eyes. Though she didn't understand why she must be afraid, she did understand that she must be afraid. By now, Beato realized that this spirit mirror was both terrifying and harmful. As it came closer to her, she felt an increasingly strong and painful burning sensation over her whole body, as though someone was approaching her with a hot iron. She couldn't even open her eyes because of the mirror's bright, painful glint.
Ugh. You return to the world from whence you came, evil one! I, Ushiro Miyanazuhi, do not fear evil in the least!
It's no use.
No use. Why is this musty mirror so... If I lose here, I'll be the only one to fail this trial. Just like George-san and Shannon-san and Jessica-san and Cannon-san, I think this is the narrator. I also want Butler-san to acknowledge me.
Yeah, that's the narrator.
And treasure me. And even though I've finally managed to be honest with myself, in a place like this, I alone will be. Are you giving up? Only you?
Believe. A miracle of love will surely occur.
I love Butler-san. I want him to notice me, and I want him to acknowledge and accept my feelings. If my reason for calling him father and dedicating myself to him was out of duty towards a parent of mine, I would have been satisfied with no reward. That was a deception I used to fool myself. I love Butler-san, and I want him to acknowledge it. I accept it. I won't turn away any longer. I was born because I love Butler-san, and I want him to love me back. And so, I cannot lose. Here. Be gone, evil one! There is no place for you here!
Her determination had come too late. If she'd had it from the start, she probably would have managed to finish Natsuhi off right then without any fear. Because she had wavered, it had taken time to kill Natsuhi, and things had ended up like this.
Come on, Chick Beatrice.
But now I am resolved. I want to love Butler-san. I want him to love me. And so I cannot lose here. After all, I was born for Butler-san's sake.
Those canines.
Yes, that is.
What we wanted to hear.
Just after a sound like a beetle banging off all the walls filled the room, the spirit mirror was knocked out of Natsuhi's outstretched hand. It fell to the floor, and the stake flying around the room pierced through it with a crash. It's like uplifting trance music to killing Natsuhi. It's just like, yes, she's dying.
Oh gosh. It's all the weird voice characters in one.
That's why I said I'd narrate.
Lucifer Pride, right here! You dare mock me by choosing a single old mirror to be my first target in so long?
She's like a Muppet.
Lucifer, son? Beatrice Summer, you must complete your trial! She's getting away! Someone help me! Oh, someone!
Now that the spirit mirror, her last ray of hope, had been smashed, and the number of strange demons had increased, Natsuhi could do nothing but run for it. However, as she made a scene and people gathered, the anti-magic toxin would burn Beato.
Did she know that?
Now was her last chance.
Thank you, Lucifer-san. Prepare yourself, Ushiro Natsuhi. Go!
Once again, Beato choked the thin air. This time, she wouldn't let her escape. She had to end Nasuhi's pain right away before it got too drawn out. But her power wasn't enough. Though Nasuhi scratched at her neck, she also struggled to escape from the room. Her shaking hand stretched out to the lock on the door. A closed room is one of the concepts that allows a witch to be a witch. Just unlocking the door strengthened the anti-magic toxin a little. Since Beato was at her limit even within a closed room, if Nasuhi undid that lock, Beato's power would weaken immediately, and Nasuhi would surely escape into the hallway. Their strengths were matched. However, Nasuhi's began to surpass Beato's slightly. The power of the living to live is fundamentally stronger than the power of magic. Of course, Beato was mustering all her might. However, Nasuhi was just a bit stronger.
That's enough. Lucifer, do it. As you wish!
Do you get why the unlocking the door makes her stronger?
Is it because it gives more credence to the murderer being human rather than inhuman?
Because
that means that it was clear that someone came in and went out.
Yeah.
Whereas
so
if it's locked from the inside, then there's more mystery as to how they were able to get into the room and out of the room.
So they're the story uses closed rooms so much because there's the mystery to it, and it's we can't explain this mystery, so that leaves it open to supernatural, to magic, But then when the door's unlocked, they're oh no, someone could have just come in and out.
Yeah.
Lucifer transformed into a stake, and like the time she had smashed Natsuhi's spirit mirror, flew violently around the room. Then she struck Natsuhi's forehead. Natsuhi crumpled slowly. When Beato saw this, she also fell to her knees, breathing hard.
Hey, Zeppa, does this count? Beatrice didn't complete the trial by her own strength alone, right?
That's right, Furfur. True, this trial must be accomplished without borrowing the help of any other.
Then maybe this is an exception.
A pair in love are as one. This doesn't count as help from the outside.
Butler-san?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Battler was the one who was alright, Lucifer, do it.
Ah.
Did you really have to scare me like that as soon as the first twilight?
My apologies. Sorry, I didn't listen to your instructions.
Instructions?
Well, I didn't stay in my room.
Beato hung her head apologetically. When he saw this, Battler scratched his head uncomfortably. In that case, I should apologize too. I should have chosen my words more carefully.
No, you did nothing wrong. Father. I mean, Battler's son.
It's okay. Call me whatever you like. Battler had always looked at the new Beatrice sternly. However, that was gone from his expression now. True, the old you may have called me just Battler. At first, I might have tried to force you to speak to me in that way. But that would be pointless. You are Beato, but you're still you. You can call me whatever you want.
Battler-san. Blushy cheeks.
Sure, that works great. Can't say being called father is really my thing.
Yes.
Earlier, she had hesitated just to say Battler's name at all. If Battler had told her to say his name without honorifics, she couldn't have done so right away, or right now. And even if she had, that might have hurt Battler even more. However, now she was allowed to call Battler by his name. You just had to look into her eyes to see how happy this made her.
We could do that if her eyes weren't closed.
I heard from Zeppa and Furfur. It seems a strange game has been started.
Yes. Sorry for getting involved all on my own.
No problem. That reckless way you leap in before you understand is really like you. And, well, I've heard about the theme of this game. Apparently you're supposed to play it in pairs.
Interesting.
Yes, that is correct, Lord Battler.
If you could succeed in winning through our trial, we will bless the pair of you and bestow a miracle of magic upon you. We did so well! No, we gotta do that again. No!
It seems these guys have been giving their power to Beate's golden butterfly brooch. That means its effectiveness is guaranteed. We've been stuck with each other for a long time now. Nothing wrong with playing this sort of game every now and then.
Does Battler actually know it's a love game?
They told him.
They said it'll bestow a miracle upon you. They didn't say a miracle of love.
He said they explained what the premise of the game was. Oh, did you hear that, Furfur? It looks like Lord Battler is joining in as well.
That's no surprise. After all, we've known since the beginning. Welcome to our trial, Lord Battler. So, who will your sacrifice be?
You.
My father!
I've already done my part. Go and check if you want. Very well, Lord Battler. Come, Furfur, let's go check.
Yes, let's. But Zeppa, this means that all 6 lovers have succeeded in their trials, right? What should we do next?
Battle Royale.
The resolve of all 6 is the real deal. Let us test them further in the next trial.
The 2 noisy demons disappeared. They had apparently left to go check on the sacrifice Battler had killed. And also, so that Battler and Beate, who could finally look each other in the eye and talk, could have some time alone.
The music all of a sudden stopped my ears, like, oh. Did she have the same voice? Or was it different? As Featherine?
Yeah.
She did? What do you think of the tale so far? When suddenly asked this question, Angie immediately came to her senses. Then she realized that she had been immersed in Hachijo's tale. She felt a bit defeated and tried to look displeased. You cleverly tried to distract us with this love trial stuff, but exactly 6 people have died setting up the first twilight. Impressive.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you're right. I hadn't realized.
Amakusa clapped his hands as though he'd been outsmarted. Even though he'd figured it out before me, he played the fool. That's simply because the number of lovers just happened to be 6. The fact that it matched to the number of the first twilight was half coincidence, half design. It's a bit more interesting that way. Feels more like fate. Humans have the bad habit of taking 2 meaningless phenomena and trying to link them together. Trying to make things seem like fate is a trick of the books. A trick of books.
I guess you aren't a fan of Destiny and Miracles, lady.
It's like UFOs. Everyone knows about them, but no one has ever seen them.
I'm just tilted over my Amakusa voice. There's a cool metaphor. Or is it that? No, there's a cool metaphor.
You know, he'd be like, he'd be like, Kore wa kuru, Kore wa kuru, blah blah blah, metaphor.
So normally I try to skip over all the love and illusions and call them unnecessary, useless scenes for the mystery. But Okunogi-san disagreed with that way of thinking. He thought that by looking at things without love that way, the truth could never be reached.
Ah, you mean President Okunogi's catchphrase? Without love, it cannot be seen.
Yeah, that. If I put aside my anger at the person who killed my family in a story, and even speak with respect for Madame Hachijo,
the one who wrote this tale, then there must be a point to this depiction. After all, she's used up all these pages talking about love and trials. In other words, those are the themes and keywords of this tale. Oh, and there are many who claim that all words are not written in red ink are not worth reading. It is an honor, child of man, that you have read the black letters so well. As well. Why is she calling her child of man when she's in her human form?
It's just
her character.
That's just her.
Okay. Stories are written because the writer is something they want to communicate. And some writers feel that it's unrefined to lay everything out too directly. All of this is about how you'll never reach the truth without love has shown up. All of this about how you'll never reach the truth without love has shown up many times in the works before this one. This new work makes that even more striking. It means that this is the one thing the writer wanted to tell the most, the thing that they want us to think about the most. When you think about it, there have been many scenes about love ever since Beato first appeared. Even the first time she appeared before Shannon, she spoke clearly about how love was the single element of the world, and the golden butterfly brooch she had given was also an item for love. She had said that she enjoyed sowing seeds of love and watching complications arise, and when Shannon stopped borrowing her power, the reason for her argument was also love. After her interactions with Butler started up in full, scenes about love were toned down for a while. But the without love, it cannot be seen, definition of magic, has been mentioned repeatedly. Then, in the tale right before this one, when Beato became like a doll, several scenes made it seem almost as though Butler and Beato had accepted each other as rivals, or possibly something more. In the end, Butler had regained some memory, and his impression of Beato had undergone a complete change. And then, in this game, from the beginning until now, the word love has been repeated over and over again. The tale you wrote keeps talking about love. However, that's not Maria or Nei-chan's viewpoint or Beatrice's viewpoint. It's Hachijo Toya's viewpoint. Correct, that is what I wanted to tell, and it is my own sort of answer.
Answer? Then all of the crimes 12 years ago were a trial of love started by strange demons?
Ridiculous. I didn't come here to read a romance novel you wrote. What I want to know about is the truth you claim to have reached. Foolish child of man. After reading all of this, do you still not understand? What?
Foolish child of man.
Ay! Bonk your head. With an obviously condescending gaze, Hachijo shrugged. It was clear that she was trying to provoke Anji. She was probably hinting that Anji should just go home if she was annoyed. If you're going to read my noble work and not even attempt to see whether you understand it, then get out. Normally, Anji would already have thrown a fit and left. However, she couldn't do that, though she didn't like someone else toying with her family's fate in a story. She was growing increasingly certain of something else as she read through it. Just as Hachijo's followers said, this tale really does have the same presence, the same scent as the tales written by Beatrice. The author was certainly different, however, because it reached to the real truth, it had the same scent. Anji was beginning to acknowledge this. Hachijo Toya was one who had reached Beatrice's truth, an endless witch like Beatrice, who could add to the endlessly stretching parallel worlds of the cat box. If one has reached Beatrice's truth, they can create a new tale, whoever they are. With this new manuscript, I'm sure someone besides myself will appear and reach the truth. Those people will be qualified to create new tales of their own. Is this like fourth wall breaking happening right now?
I was lost. I wasn't really following.
Oh my goodness, you're just spacing out. So there will be more and more endless witches. Yes,
And these many endless witches will add to Beatrice's catbox tale. The more they add to it, the more people will reach the truth. When that happens, the very first endless witch, Beatrice, will finally be rewarded for writing such long letters, packing them in bottles, and throwing them into the sea.
Oh, fourth wall breaking. Like, fourth wall is, like, talking to us. The stuff that, like, Byrne has done.
Well, yeah, but is it like the author saying that people reach the truth? You know how there's, like, the hunters and things, and they will become Beatrices?
Yeah, that's not fourth wall breaking.
What is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're referring. It's meta, I think you'd call it.
Meta breaking.
But, like, fourth wall directly involves, like, the audience, us who are reading. Yeah, there's a lot of layers. It's kind of like they're talking about that concept within the story.
Umineko is an onion.
Yeah.
There's lots of layers. I forget how the quote goes. Ogres are onions.
Onions have layers. But also cakes.
You might have yelled at me angrily and risen from your seat. However, you did not. Why? I hate to admit it, but I'm starting to think that your tale has some kind of truth or hint within it. I already have my own ideas. However, that's no more than looking with a single eye. Unless I accept a different viewpoint from my own and look at things from more than one angle, I'll never be able to see the truth in 3 dimensions. That's my interpretation of without love, it cannot be seen. Very well, child of man. Perhaps, as the final survivor of the Ushiromiya family, it was fated that you would find the truth and become an endless witch. I exist only as a guidepost to awaken you as the true successor. Aren't you, Beatrice? Sometimes I don't understand what she's saying. However, she knows something. And maybe she actually has reached the truth, as she claims. In other words, I did not learn the truth even after reading the 2 message bottles Beatrice left behind. And I'm now reading tale after tale filled with hints. Oh, Angie, I empathize with you. Hints that nobody's picking up. So, these hints are challenges, provoking me to think. Indeed.
Because you're not thinking.
I'm not thinking at all. Perfect. I'll find this truth you say you've reached. It's a good thing I came here. That it is. I invited you here because you hadn't found it yet, child of man. Let the truth I see and the truth you see overlap. Just as you see things with a single eye, so do I. Now that I've found you, I can finally see the truth with both eyes.
So the first twilight has finally happened. Everything so far has made me so sleepy.
You have some sleep in your eye.
Huh? Where? Mind your own business.
As you wish, let's let the game begin. First off, the first twilight.
What? We're in Nocturne of Truth and Illusions.
What I am. Nice.